Like boop. Sorry you missed it.
Oh, really? What is?
It gives you 10 minutes, and if you don't log in 10minutes, then it doesn't allow you to
Oh, didn't know
within
that.
10 minutes. Yeah. Through StreamYard, what we're using. All right, let me see. Yep, there we are. We're right up here on the screen. Thank you. Okay. Through StreamYard, what we're using. Okay. So we'll welcome people. Wait for people to come into the room, come in, and help us discuss the journey into therapy. We got two people on. Like, share, invite. Hello there. It looks like we have three people watching so far. So please like, share, invite your people on. We are going to be just having a conversation today about therapy and the journey into therapy and starting your personal growth journey. So please like, share, and bring people in the room. I'm trying to see if I can see the
Coming,
comments.
they're coming, they're coming.
They are. They are.
Ah,
Yes. Yes. Come on in. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Me and my girlfriend gonna be talking to you guys about this journey called life.
mm,
Therapy can fit. How therapy can fit. Kind of disband some of the unknowns for people. Yeah. Answer any questions. Hopefully, we'll have this will be a
yeah,
question and answer.
ask some questions.
Hopefully, people will have questions. Yeah.
Wee.
Yes.
Mm,
I'll give them a couple more minutes to come on in. Y'all come on in the room. Invite your friends. Like, share, invite. Like, share, invite. We're also on YouTube. So like, share, invite,
Hey,
and
Miss Lisa.
subscribe. And
Is that
subscribe.
Lisa up
Who is
there?
that?
Lisa?
Is Lisa. She said, "Hey, Queens. Hey, you.
Hey.
Hey, Lisa. How are you? Thank you for chiming in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for chiming in. All right, all right. We got somebody else watching as well. Um, okay, this way then I can see who hops on and to see the comments. Because for some reason on this, my comments are not showing. Let's see. Do I say show? No. Nope, nope, nope. I don't want them there. Okay. Yeah, for some reason on this app, it's not showing, so I have to look at my phone to see the comments. Come on in the room, like, share, comment, ask questions. Today, we are going to be talking about the journey into therapy. You
Yay.
know, yes, the journey into therapy. And Stephanie and I both can talk about this topic, any topic that we do, obviously, but both from a professional and a personal standpoint. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to Heads Up Mental Clarity. Jump right on in, like, share, and invite so that everybody can participate in this discussion because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a discussion. We're going to come more from a personal, professional, um, because we can't help but to do it professionally. But we're going to hop right into come from a professional and personal standpoint. So let's
Yes.
hop right on in. Today we're going to be talking about the journey into therapy. Start your personal growth journey. It's okay. I was gonna say girl because I'm used to talk to women. It's okay, girl, but guys too. It's okay. It's okay to embrace. It is okay to embrace therapy and personal growth and all of that. And I think we're in it. Hey, Sheridan. She said,
Miss
"Hey, ladies."
Sheridan. Hello, Miss Sheridan.
Hey, hey, hey. I think we're in a age though, Stephanie, where people are um becoming more in tune with, they want more. They want to grow. They want different. Um,
Mhm.
and maybe that's just my experience. And I think because I wanted, everybody else wanted.
That's okay too. Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I mean, I'm starting. I don't know if it started with COVID or whatever, but I'm starting to see more and more people more accepting of
Gotcha.
therapy and wanting to grow and wanting to do something different. Um,
Mhm.
since this pandemic has hit, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think that when you get an opportunity to sit with yourself and you don't have the distractions,
yeah.
then I think that our highest self always wants to be its best self.
Oh,
And so
I love
when you get a chance to sit with yourself,
that. Yeah.
you begin to say, how do I reach that goal? How do I obtain how do I obtain the place where I want to be? Because there's more. All of us know we come into this place, onto this planet, understanding that
Yeah.
there is so much more, but we aren't given that instruction for whatever reason. No blaming. We aren't given that awareness, but there's something always inside of us that's saying there's so much more. I'm way bigger than this. If the Bible says,
Yeah.
"Let us make man in our own image,"
Yes.
and
Yes.
this is then my life is not congruent to all
Okay.
that God is, right?
Mhm. And you
And
feel
so,
that.
yes, if you pay
You
attention,
feel that.
you do.
Well, well, I'm glad you said if you pay attention, because I think that what I think I just something just came to me is that when you with this pandemic, we're so used to doing
Yeah.
and not being. And
Hmm.
when the pandemic hit, it slowed us down. And now you're forced to be. And then
Yeah.
you say, well, what is that? Because I never had to do that before. Like,
Hmm.
what is that? And so people started to search out. On
Yeah.
top of course, the anxiety about the pandemic and can't go outside and the
Yeah.
information or misinformation about what is
Misinformation.
going on in our
Hmm.
world right now.
Hmm.
And so I think that's what it is. Like we've been like you had to slow down. You don't have a
You have
choice.
to slow down and, um, you know, intrinsically, we already know that there is something missing when it's missing. So most times, like a child, if the child is hungry, they go to the mom and the mom feeds them. So
Mhm.
if I show up now and I got to worry about food, I got to worry about clothing, and the whole society has shut down,
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
I don't know where to go. And I think one of my roles as a therapist is to help people to reestablish their identity of who
Mm.
they are, because
Yes.
I'm really big on
Yes.
doing your childhood work, and I'm really
Yes.
big on always attaching your beginning, let us make man in our image, to
Mhm.
everything in life. Has always been the
Absolutely.
place to go to for me, and then to have it affirmed as a therapist has just been like,
Yeah.
it's just been this gigantic
Yeah.
affirmation. And I think that the clients want that too. They
Yeah.
want to know, who am I, and
Mhm.
how do I make sense of the wounds? How do I make sense
Mhm.
of hurt? How do I make sense of not having a job, can't feed my kids? And one of the things that since I've been doing this 5 o'clock writing, one of the things, the essay that I wrote about, is separating my who from my do,
Ooh, I love
and
that.
helping um, people to understand that who they are and what they do are two different things. That you came in here intrinsically whole, wonderful, beautiful, but people can't just hold that, because it goes, a lot of times it goes contrary to what they've been made to believe.
Mhm. Yeah. And
And
it's
so I
amazing how you've always known, felt
always,
this for people, because I remember like one of the things I would say when I was working in high school, I would ask a child like, "Who are you?" Or they would start to describe themselves, and it would be in such a negative way, and I would say, "Okay, not if you told me who everybody else says you are.
yes.
Now I need you to tell me who you say you are, because it's irrelevant for who somebody else think you are. and what the teacher said you are, and what your classmates or your peers say you are. Who do you know? I guess, or why didn't you do da 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 da? You know, why do you think you didn't do this assignment? You're right. Well, I'm lazy. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So tell me what you think. Tell me the reason you didn't do it. Then you got, I didn't really understand it.
Mhm. And that's the beauty of therapy, is that
Yes.
wonderful, as Oprah says, ahas. Like
Yes.
that's what happens when you're in a safe place. I have made a note, you know, that therapy is non-judgmental, confidential,
Mm-hmm.
safe,
Yes.
no shoulds, no you ought tos.
No.
So nobody shouldn't all over you in sessions. And then you get to have an amazing idea and you have somebody say, okay, try that.
Yes. And it's okay to try
Mhm.
that, because it had not been okay before. Hi, Sheridan says, I'm embracing personal, spiritual, and professional growth. You better, girl.
Yes.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Ro. How you doing? How you guys doing? Thank you for chiming in. And so, Ro is Rodell.
So
Ro is,
I
thank you for
can't
chiming
see
in.
anybody.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so it's really been amazing to work with people and to validate who
Yeah.
they are, who
Mhm.
they, help them figure out, because sometimes they don't know, but help them to process while and validate what they feel, validate what's going on. Because I think a lot of times, sometimes people just need a safe space, like you said, to be validated,
Mhm. And
to
to
be like,
collaborate. And
yes,
I do some stuff. I already told you about this, Michelle. So I don't do this with everybody, but sometimes Holy Spirit will say, do this. So I do it.
right,
And so I'll have a client come in, and this has been lately too, and they'll have a conversation, and then they just kind of sit like, so what you think about that?
right, right, right.
You know, and I'm like, what'd you think about that? And let them tell me what you think about what you just said to me. And
Yes.
then, you know, so I got to have a diagnosis for insurance purposes. So what do you think, what do you think your diagnosis is? And they're like, well, you're supposed to tell me. No, I'll pull out the DSM and I'll go through the criteria and be like, is this you? I don't
Mm,
know. And I'll read anxiety. Is this you? I don't know. And I'll read adjustment disorder. Oh, maybe that. Okay. So your diagnosis will be an adjustment disorder. This is so unconventional. You been in therapy before?
you've been in therapy before. You've been watching the video. How
This
you
is so unconventional. Well, the reason that I'm doing this is because you're looking for a diagnosis so that you can hide behind it.
know?
So I'm going to let you do your work.
And I got to do one in order to bill, but
I got to do one. I don't believe in them. So here
we
you
still
go.
got to do this
We
work.
still have to do this work. So you tell me what you
Yeah.
are. And then that way it's like I own my own stuff and not
Hmm.
put it on Miss Stephanie to give me a diagnosis. And now Stephanie is doing the work to get me to be no longer depressed.
Right.
I'm not doing the work to get you no longer depressed.
Right.
I'm just going to help you facilitate the
Mhm.
experience. But a lot of people come in because they need a diagnosis to
Or somebody
validate
said
where
they
they
should
are.
have one.
Hmm.
Or
You
somebody
said,
said they should have one.
yeah, yeah. What's wrong with me? Nothing.
Yes.
Other than you need to collaborate. Other than you need to talk about something. You need to be affirmed. So
Yeah.
therapy is not always about a diagnosis and all of that. Most of our journey, because Michelle and I have been doing this before we got
Right.
letters behind our name, is
Exactly.
is to
Exactly.
is to just encourage and empower and just affirm where people already are, like,
And to think outside of what somebody else said. Think
or
outside.
even what I say.
Right. Well, what I say is what was poured into me
Yes.
at some point, whether it's homeschool or whatever, on the playground, whatever. And yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to help you to come to that. And it's amazing to me when people come to the aha, and we don't bring you there. We don't take you there. We
No.
don't tell you what it is
And
because
it's not the goal.
it's not.
It's not the goal. So let me say that to everybody, that the goal literally is to sit and share a space with you where you are,
Yes.
and to kind of almost say, is that really where you want to go? It's okay if you want to go somewhere that you would never go with your girlfriends or your mother or
Right.
your husband or your
Right.
partner. We can go there if you like, and
Yeah.
just imagine what
Mhm.
it would be like to be okay with where you are. Yeah, and I don't want to jump the gun, because you brought up a really good subject earlier about um looking for the right fit, because that's
Yeah.
important.
That is
And
very important. We're gonna get to that part.
mhm,
That is very important. But so Stephanie and I were thinking about like what we're gonna talk about on Tuesday,
mhm.
and we tossed around ideas of what we're gonna talk about, and this one just was like, oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, because
So
I
the
think that
journey,
people think that there's something wrong with therapy, or that
yeah,
um
they've been
if
taught
you
that.
if you suggest therapy, there's something wrong with you. And really, it's just another way of helping you to process
Yes,
process your life. That's what therapy did for me. It's probably why I'm a therapist today, but help you to process your life in a space that's non-judgmental
yeah,
and affirming where you are. Like
yeah.
saying yes, and that you get to make your own choices, giving people permission. And during this pandemic,
Yes.
people have been needing
Permission,
permission,
absolutely, absolutely.
permission to not be okay with things, permission to not have faith. Not that you're going to stay in a non-faith place, but people can be mad at God, and they
Mhm.
need a place to do that. They need a place to say, I'm angry, I'm upset. And then we get to
Without
process
judgment,
that without judgment.
because
Without
in the world outside of the counseling office, the therapy office, there would be judgment in that.
mm-hmm,
And I think that I've always been, hence why I ended up being a counselor in a school and therapist, is that I've always been wanted to be the voice
mm-hmm,
for the underdog, if you will.
mm-hmm,
So what
mm-hmm,
does that mean in the therapy world? One, always give you permission to
mm-hmm,
be whoever the heck you are.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I've always saw something wrong with, like, that kid is always doing this. That kid is, even as a child, it was like in my mind, there's got to be an explanation for that.
Ways, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I think both of us, have been, we're therapists, period. It's who
Yeah,
we are. It's not, it's what we do, it's who we are, it's our personalities, helping people. And I think that we were doing that way, like you said, way before there was a thought about, oh, I probably should get a master's for this.
right. Exactly. Exactly. And my kid's dad, George, Big George, and he affirmed that 2017. He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because
Right?
I was in my 20s, I was trying to always analyze and figure out what we're doing and how we're doing it. And even back then, in your 20s, for sure enough, you trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
You're walking away from home and going into Babylon, is what I always say, and trying to learn their way of life. And
Yes.
it's so contrary to where you come from. So if I had it my way to do this over again, I think I would make a really great college counselor. I know you would have made a great college
You
counselor.
know,
I just don't think they make enough money. But
when I was in the school, I said, oh, this is where I'm going to be. And if I ever leave here, because I'm in control, if I ever leave here, I'm going to another school. And if I'm not accepting the school, then I'm going to, my goal was always to go to the collegiate level. My
yeah.
goal was to always go to the collegiate level. And my goal has always been to speak to the masses about
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is I know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is I learn, whatever knowledge I have. And God was like, you funny. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
be a therapist. and the
Mhm.
majority of your clients or your demographics will be college students.
Okay.
Isn't that
That
crazy,
makes sense.
girl?
No, it makes absolute sense.
It's like,
My clients are domestic violence and attachment couples with
yeah,
attachment disorders. Like that makes absolute sense. And I don't know about what college therapists do, if there's a thing, because
no,
most of the
they're
time I think when you look into it,
advisors.
they were more for a career and things
Well,
of
okay,
that
so
nature.
that's advisors, but there is a
Okay.
counseling department that do what we do, but only for
Okay.
like 5 sessions, and then that's how I get them. So
Um,
only for like 5 sessions, and then I gotta move you on, and
got
that
it.
part I would not like.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I
No.
wanna see you through your journey if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
um, so yeah. So it was like that, and then as far as speaking to the masses, it's like, yeah, you're gonna speak to them, but you're not gonna be on
One
the
at
same
a
stage
time.
right now. Right. You're not gonna
For
be on the
now. For
same stage right
now.
now. You're gonna be on
Right.
Facebook, and you're gonna be on
Yeah.
YouTube,
Right.
you're gonna speak to ladies in conferences.
Right.
That's how you gonna do that. And it's
Right.
fine, but in
Yeah.
my imagination, as you would say, I'm like, it's gonna be and it might still be, but
Yeah.
yeah. So we think, we want to do a thing, and we think we have in our minds how it's going to be, and we still end up doing that thing. It's just we do it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that as African Americans, um, we sit in a very privileged place.
Hmm.
I don't take that for granted
Me either.
because I understand that it's scary, because we have been given so much information as people of color, misinformation as people of color, of what therapy is. That people think therapy is advice giving, and it's the absolute last thing that we do. And
Right.
so they get a little irritated because we won't tell them what to do.
Right.
And it's like,
Because that whole thing about, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but if you teach him to fish, he'll fish for a lifetime. It really is along those lines that if I guide you and you come up with it on your own,
mhm,
it's solid. You got
mhm,
it. But if I
mhm.
tell you, it's because we are accustomed to people telling us what to do.
Yeah,
That is the truth. We are just accustomed to people telling us what to do. But no, you have the wherewithal. You do not have to be a therapist. You come to a therapist who will help you to process the intelligence that you already have to come up with an answer for yourself. We don't do that for you. That's not our role.
mhm,
That's not our
mhm.
role at all. Um, the other stick, the other thing is that people think that, oh, I'll go to therapy because, like you said, it's something wrong with me, or there needs to be a diagnosis, or even when there's people in crises who do have the diagnosis of schizophrenia and things like
Right.
that.
Mhm.
That is not the only thing that therapy is for.
Right.
So you could, so some things that can kind of guide you into going into therapy or seeking out therapy is, you can't seem to function properly. Something doesn't sit
Yes.
quite well with you,
Mhm.
if you will. And you can't really explain that on your own.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you can go to therapy for that. So like if anxiety or nervousness, because
It's
sometimes we
cap.
don't.
Yeah, it's reactivity that all the time. You keep getting the
Yes.
same response, the same. Like you
Yeah.
feel like I'm going like what is that movie Groundhog Day
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you go for that. Something major happens in your life and you
Yes.
need help to process that,
Mhm.
because you're all out of sorts of, with it. And you feel like something needs to change. Like Stephanie was saying, like in our 20s, it's like, okay. And we hit those points, it seems like
Benchmarks. Yeah.
every
Yeah.
decade, right? 20, 30, 40, 50.
Right.
And
Mhm.
you just need someone to kind of help you process through that,
Mhm.
right? So it's not
Validate.
just
Mhm.
invalidate,
Mhm.
validate. Yes, people with trauma, and I think we all have it, but people with immediate trauma come to therapy for the assistance, but you don't have to have an immediate or direct trauma to come to therapy,
Right.
because we have it, whether it's vicarious, whatever, down the,
Mhm.
generation. whatever. We all have that. But right. So do you feel like you're at a standstill? Have you feel like you hit a wall in terms of your life and your personal growth?
Right.
You come to therapy. We'll help you out. You notice that you're becoming distant from your friends, so you feel down, you feel sad, or whatever. It doesn't have to be major depressive disorder, but life happens.
No.
Life happens.
Right.
So
Right.
you come and we help you to process through that. Or you simply have no one to talk to. Like I've had people come in and be like, so I don't have nobody else to talk to, and
Right.
I just think that this is healthy, and I
Right.
just talk.
And it's true. And it's
Yes,
and it's
yes,
true. And understanding when you go to therapy that there's always, no matter who you talk to, even your girlfriends, there's risk and benefits in
yes,
sharing your story.
yes, yes.
So that comes with the territory. You'll get into the groove of things, and you'll discover some stuff about you. The risk is that you'll be exposing yourself um, in spaces where you probably didn't expect to. If somebody, a therapist does what they do, you'll open up in areas that you didn't count on.
Right,
Yes, and it's very risky to open your heart space to somebody that you don't know, or that is like, how does she know that? And a lot of times, like, I think maybe I'm gonna throw a number out here because I didn't do the research, but by the eighth or fifth appointment, a person will start to recoil and
yeah,
be like, "Oh, okay, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good,
yeah.
I'm good,
Never
I'm
mind, never
I'm
mind.
never mind, never mind, never mind." And then every now and again, they'll come back in and check in. I did that too when I was first going to therapy. I would get what I needed. I got the affirmation that I needed, and I was all in church too. So between therapy and the Bible, I'm good, but the
Yeah.
therapist is able to take me to places that just reading the word of God just wasn't enough. I needed to be
You need
questioned.
guidance, right?
Yes,
Push you, prodding
pushed
you.
in, and yeah, and say some things that I wouldn't dare say.
And I say all the time with like working out and things like that, like you need someone who like we let our well, not just working out, anything, we let ourselves off the
Just
hook.
off the hook.
So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading the Bible, I'm just by myself.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I don't have to be accountable for that.
Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
somebody else is not, whether it is a spiritual therapist or not, they're not going to let you off the hook. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
challenge some
Yes.
of the things that you say. And then you're knowing, you want that. But like you said, around the fifth session, it's like, and then then we got to have an excuse for it. Like who she thinks she is,
Right.
I'm going back to her
Right. Right. She
or whatever.
said that. You
Can't
know what
believe
she
that.
said to me?
Yes.
I'm guilty. I have done it
When
before.
you
So.
know that you're looking for a thing,
Mm-hmm.
I just say like try it. Give it
Yeah.
a try,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
if you're on the quest for personal growth. And I think that we all are. Everybody's in different areas of their life, but give it a try. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely, because we're not just here to say, you have bipolar disorder and I'm
Oh no.
or, and I've had people come to say, so do you think I'm borderline?
I know. And those are the people that I want. I'll be like, let me grab my book. Let's read this together. Let's find out together.
Do
I
you think you're
will, because no. Yes. I'm like, let's go over this. Let's read this criteria. You want to read? Whatever. Because
yeah,
I'm not here to prescribe a diagnosis for you. The insurance companies want it, but I don't, that's not my goal. And that needs not be your goal either. And I learned that when I worked at the greenhouse in Chicago at the shelter, because our survivors of domestic violence would want to know what's wrong with him.
mm-hmm.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Do you think that, and they needed a diagnosis so that they could return home and then try to
Fix
assist
what's
him in his healing so that we won't,
wrong.
have to fight anymore? And that's when I realized that diagnosis is not like, it's just not the thing. It's not important
Has to
as.
be done, but
Yes, and there are some clear-cut diagnoses, but for women and women of color, just life. You got life. That's what you got. You got life, and
right.
and a bunch of lag time and information. So we're
Mhm.
in this moment in time as women, but we got so much information that we have yet to know about who we really are.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so that's what we feeling. We're feeling the lag time because I'm here in this moment. There's some information I am missing, and
Right.
we were trying to get it and gather it up. So yeah, the diagnosis thing, when people come in already like, well, do you think I'm borderline? Or I don't know, I think I'm depressed, or and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I definitely can't tell you in the first 45 minutes,
Right.
but we do our best to,
And, before I tell you anything, I say go see your doctor. And
mm-hmm,
why do I say go? 'Cause what's your levels like? You
mm-hmm,
think I need
definitely,
antidepressants?
always first.
I don't know. You could be vitamin D deficient.
Absolutely.
I don't know. You could be on medication for a medical condition that can cause you to feel a certain way. I don't
Yes.
know.
You have a
Let's
urinary
explore.
tract infection.
Right, and that can make you feel very foggy in the brain. So
Yes,
let's
yes,
let's figure out some things that you are experiencing, and that's one of my first recommendations. Like go see a primary care physician,
yeah, yeah,
work up your blood and stuff like that. Right. Before, my first go to is not you need a pill, you need to go see a psychiatrist. That's not my first go to.
yeah. I think the primary thing is that for people to understand that therapy is literally for your own personal growth.
Yes.
It's not to say that anything is wrong with you.
Right.
It's like, yeah, and when you are in environments where people say you should know this or that should, when you are in environments that you're feeling like you're not measuring up, it's a
Hmm.
great equalizer, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree. Um, so some people think that it's necessary. Some people don't think that it's necessary. Stephanie, what I would say is that if you're on this journey of personal growth and you are trying to take it to the next level, and your girlfriends may do a really good job. Well, let me just
Yes,
my girlfriend happened to be a therapist, so
right. I know, right? We got a little bit of a
right,
fair but disadvantage, or what
right,
am I saying? A fair disadvantage or unfair disadvantage?
right.
I don't know, but
But
yeah,
sometimes a therapist, if you are a good fit, can take you to places that maybe your girlfriend might not be able to take you,
yes, mm-hmm,
with limited knowledge and education in the area of being able to guide you through that. Right? Yeah, we got to learn diagnosis and all that kind of stuff. However, we literally just have a little bit more knowledge to guide you through the process that you need to
uh-oh,
for your personal growth. Right?
mm-hmm,
And so, you know, try it. Here's what I say about therapy. If you have any of those things going on that I talked about, before, of having a hard time, can't seem to function properly, something major happened in your life or whatever, um, try it.
mm-hmm,
Right? You don't really know. And most times when there's a stigma against it and someone
mm-hmm,
else has something negative to say, they've
mm-hmm.
tried it.
Oh, I'm gonna pay attention to that. Mm-hmm,
They've not tried it.
mm-hmm,
When you have in our culture, oh, that's a stigma, that's something you shouldn't be doing, oh, you must be crazy. It's
mm-hmm,
something that they heard and they're regurgitating what they heard and what they learned.
mm-hmm,
Or
mm-hmm.
someone, it's like anything, someone is being engaged in with someone who was not a good fit.
Yes, that's so important. And don't I'll give you permission to just say this is not a good fit. I always ask after my first session, like, so I'm not gonna make the assumption that you'll be back.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Because you can go somewhere, I don't use say this last part, but I really feel in my heart, don't stay around unless you feel good about this. And I
Right.
give everybody let me let you off the hook.
Right.
Um and go somewhere where you feel comfortable, um and you want to do your work, because
Absolutely.
that's the beauty of therapy, is like just this I feel like everybody shows up as these little tight buds,
And then you get to
And then you
relax.
just get to open them up and let them just like
Right.
just
Yes.
be. And so that's who I'm, when you sit before me, I see this, and then I can see this if you stay around to make it happen. Um,
Mhm.
because that's what happens, but you got to stay around to make it happen, but find the right fit for you.
Find the
Don't
right
ever
fit.
get stuck with a therapist that you don't feel
Yeah.
some type of a
And come
match with.
open,
Oh,
plan
that's good.
plan
That's
to be
good.
open, 'cause, Stephanie and I
That's
talked
good.
about this, earlier this week. It's difficult when we resist or have an idealistic
Yeah.
expectation
Yeah. That's
based
how we
off
started this thing, talking
yeah,
about resistance. Mm-hmm.
yes, based
Yeah.
on what's on TV or what you think is gonna happen or what you think should happen or your uncomfortability level. Because understand in therapy as well, especially in the beginning, anytime, but especially in the beginning, if you're like this and it's uncomfortable to loosen up, you can say like, yeah, no, I don't want to visit that right there right now.
Yes. Oh, please. Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
there's, I remember working with someone and I said, so we're going to meditate. And the person was like, yeah, no, not going to do that. That's not that causes great anxiety for me.
Yes. Yes.
Sit. I learned a lesson that day. I didn't say, oh, well, you just need to do that because that's what's in the book. That's what I learned in my education. No, I was like, okay, I get it. But what it taught me was when I say to someone else, when I have an idea of something that might help you outside of the therapy room, like
Mm-hmm.
journaling or whatever, I ask, what do you think about journaling?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about meditation?
Mm-hmm.
Now I ask instead of saying, I think would be really great, because you're just so excited about helping people. Let's just go on and turn the lights off. And I learned early on, what do you think? How do you feel about
Mm-hmm.
meditation? Oh, I never tried it. You want to give it a try today? Or how do you feel about journaling? Yeah, I don't like that because when I was a kid, somebody found it. I
Read
got it.
my journal. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you are in the driver's seat.
You are. You
You
are.
are in the driver's
You
seat.
are. You are. And yeah, and the clients and patients that sit like, I'm here, Steph.
Immediately, I'm like, okay.
I'm here. I always just say these are your sessions.
I said, what's top of the mind today?
Yeah, I got that from you too.
What's
Yeah.
top of the mind today? And they're like, top of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let me think.
I'm
Says
always like, what's on your heart? What's on
yeah,
your heart today? But
yeah,
yeah, because I don't know. I'm not. We've been trained to
yeah.
not try to take this train where we want it to go. Because the
We've
moment you
been
do that,
trained that somebody else needs to be in control
mm-hmm,
of everything, even though we fight it in a lot of areas of our lives because we don't want
yes,
people lording over us. We've been trained and beaten to, you need to just do what you're told. You need to go with the flow. You need to, well, let me tell you, in the office, you don't have to do that. But
right,
in therapy, you don't. No,
yeah,
you get to
yeah.
guide. You
You
get
get
to
to
say,
guide. You are the guy. You are in control.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
And I
right.
bet you that's a new one for people. I don't know if you haven't been to therapy. I don't think people realize that you run the show. You run the show. You get to say, this is what I want to talk about today. This is
Yeah.
where I'm at today, and we just get to be the facilitator to help you process what
Mhm.
what
I've
what is in there.
I feel like that about a lot of things in life. When you going for a job interview, yes, you want that job, right? But you're interviewing them just like they're
Are
interviewing
in
you.
control.
You are
You
not
always in
powerless.
control in a job
You getting
interview.
ready
Yes.
to Yes, when you get ready to go to college, You
Mm-hmm.
get to decide if you want, if that college is going to fit for you, just like if they get to decide if you're a fit for them. Like, in every aspect, I think that we've been taught that we can, that render yourself powerless, and you don't have to render yourself powerless in anything.
Mm-hmm. I think Lisa had made him, and she made mention that their writing is her therapy, and then she said something about sadly in the African American community there is still a negative stigma on therapy. People need to be educated
The
on the normalcy and importance of therapy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we will say it until the sky turns a whole nother green or something.
Yeah.
This
And
is
with the
your world.
pandemic now, insurances have like made it more like is
Acceptable.
available. And yeah,
Yes,
and it's acceptable.
it's
You
the
don't have
thing.
to work so hard.
It's the brand. I'm
Right?
going. I'm going to therapy. It really is the thing
It's
now.
so true. Hmm. It's
Like,
fashionable.
it is fashionable. Oh, I have anxiety. It's the thing. Now, it's nothing wrong with admitting it, because a lot of times we've just been walking around like there's nothing
Yes.
wrong. No,
Yes.
yeah,
There's freedom in that. Hmm.
yes, it is.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, so that, yeah, I think that because even with virtual,
Yeah.
um, we were not doing virtual therapy sessions because insurance companies said
Would not
no.
pay for. That's right. Hmm.
Now they're paying for it, and
Yeah.
they keep extending it. I don't know
Yeah.
how long they're gonna extend it, but they keep
Right.
extending it. Why?
I am
'Cause it's
grateful.
needed. Well,
Yes.
money.
Yes.
It is needed.
Hmm.
It is
Yeah.
definitely needed. And so, it took a pandemic for them to see, like, okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing it this way. There
Right.
has been a thing in the past of that in some way it can cause some type of harm.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
what we do know is that we're intelligent enough, we should be educated enough to know when we think something's going to cause harm, because I have um, declined clients before when I thought it was going to be, like,
Yeah.
it's
Very.
harmful in the household. And
Mhm.
so now we're not going to do like that couples therapy together.
Right.
Because when you shut off that camera, I can't ensure that you're going to be safe
Right.
based off of, from what we've talked about or what you've experienced or whatever. So we have the intellect and the knowledge to know when to make that call, but it's been a very good thing for people to be
Yes.
virtual. Yeah.
Yes. It's made it more accessible to people. Is hence why we decided to say, yeah, if you feel like you want to sit down and talk and to move your personal growth to another level, then yeah, by all means, seek out a
Yeah.
therapist and talk and have a conversation and be committed. I always say a minimum of 12 visits
Yes.
for transformation. Definitely we see seen some clients for over a year, but
Yeah.
12 visits, a minimum of 12 visits for just to recognize transformation, because once you start having
Yeah.
all this stuff come up, then it's
Yeah.
like, well, I thought I wanted to work on that, but
Yeah. You start
now,
working on, yes, absolutely.
yeah.
And I tell clients in the intake that for continuity's sake, if we
Hmm.
decide after this intake appointment that it is a good fit for either of us, my recommendation is to go ahead and schedule 5 to 6 appointments consecutively,
Oh, that's good.
each a week apart.
Hmm.
And because by the sixth one, you're like, oh, yeah, okay. But if you like, oh, I'm going to see you this day when you first start out, and then I'm going to see you next month, and then I'm going to see
You
you a
don't
week.
want to do that anyway because we'll be booked.
I looked on my calendar today. I was like, oh, wait, three.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So really quickly, how do what it should look, what a good fit should look like, right? Um, so someone who allows you to speak, because
Yes.
it's not about us. So listen, let me just clear something up. If you're one of those people like you waiting for us to talk, session's not about us. We got to hear what's on your mind in order for us to know what's happening in your world, in order for us to know how to help you to process it. So we're listening to you. We're
Hmm.
giving you the floor. Hey, Kamisha. we're giving you the floor.
Hey, Kamisha.
Misha says, unlike in the past, therapy is trending. Mentioning your personal struggles mentally is perfectly okay. Being able to share with a therapist certain issues is not a bad thing. It's not. It's a relief.
Yes.
Because I'm a consumer too. It's a relief, a release, nothing embarrassing about it. Like Stephanie just mentioned, it's like a new fashion statement. And so, but with that said, there's still so many people out there that is like, yeah,
A
no.
lot.
So we're getting there. We're making ways. We're getting there. Another way to know that it's a good fit is the person doesn't make you feel bad. There's no judgment.
Yeah, there should be no judgment and no really. Not
Right. Right.
yeah, you should feel comfortable. You should feel I
Yeah.
would hope that you feel safe.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
not quite like home, but quite like the place where you can take off your jacket and lay it across. Like you know
Yeah.
how sometimes you get into a place you sit on the edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know
Mm-hmm.
you got a good fit, you
You
taking off
can
your that's
relax.
when you just kind of relax back. And
Yeah.
that's when you know
Yeah.
you got a good fit too.
Um, that person then teaches you tools and strategies based on the information that you've given. Now that's important.
It
You
is.
cannot expect to get processing assistance with information you haven't shared.
Can you please say that again?
Okay. I got to figure out how to say it again. You should not expect to get processing assistance with information you haven't shared. You
Right,
should not expect that. Like, how do I know that XYZ happened and you only talked about ABC?
right.
I can't help you process XYZ and I don't know about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so learning new strategies and tools based on the information that you've shared and that we've processed together,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm a homework queen.
Me too.
If
Me.
if all if the homework is only get some sticky notes, put a bunch of these on your mirror and look at them every day. I'm a home. So don't let the homework scare you. It's not like this assignment. The
Right.
thing,
And you don't even have to report
and
back.
you don't have to do it.
This is for you. I say that to them too. Because
It's for
my
you.
I have a client will say, well, and this is my homework assignment, and I got to get Stephanie. No,
No, it's not supposed to be stressful.
no, you don't have to get anything for Stephanie.
This
I
is for
want to
you.
say so bad, like Christ, I already know the answers to the questions I'm asking.
Right. Right.
I just can't tell you.
Right.
Can't just give
I
you a
know.
fish sandwich. I gotta
Listen,
give you a pole and a worm and a line and gotta teach
what?
you how to
Sometimes we sitting over here like, did I just say it? No, because they won't get it. They won't
it
stick.
won't register.
You want to
It
teach
won't
them
work
to
because you can
fish.
blow it off. You can
Right.
blow it off. You can be like, well, that's her opinion. And that's
Well,
why I need to
the
be like,
other
no.
thing too is, and if it doesn't work, I can't believe she told me to do that.
Right, exactly. I'm not
That didn't
taking
work.
right.
Um, the person will be engaged when you speak. There,
Yeah.
it's important what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And last but not least, you know, the information is confidential.
Yes.
So your spouse, your partner, your child, your whomever cannot call us and say, so what? Your mother, if you're
Mm-hmm.
17 and she brought you into therapy, we make it very clear she
Clear.
cannot come back and say, what is everything you guys talked about?
Mm-hmm.
We don't do
Right.
that. We don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's safety because you got to have a safe place to grow. That's why babies grow in the safety of their mother's wombs. You got to
Right.
be safe, and therapy rooms sessions are these incubators for discovery, self discovery, and growth, and awareness and acceptance.
Yes. Yes. And I want to, and we're going to end up with this. The commission, you got just about the last word because I
What
love
she
this right
say?
here. If for whatever reason you aren't comfortable with your therapist, you can find a new therapist. We can't be discouraged. Find a therapist who works well for you, one who listens and responds as you need them. I've heard many people mention that they didn't care for their therapist and they'll never go back. Let me
Yes,
say
I
this
hear that
too.
all the
Well,
time.
part of that might be the truth, What I want to make clear is the other part is that sometimes people are resistant and they just need a reason not to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you truly want to work on your personal growth, and you for sure don't let anybody discourage you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anybody discourage you. If you go to put your money in the bank and they tick you off, you don't go and put your money in a mattress. You go to
Right.
another bank.
Right.
You go to another bank.
Right. It's so
Yes. Yes. So Jewel, hey Jewel. Jewel said this is total confirmation for me. I need a way to heal to accompany my growth.
that's
Absolutely.
it. That's
So
it.
that's it. That's it right there. So
Mhm. And
listen.
here's the beauty too. I'm gonna say this: as you grow, as you start to grow and you do things, healing has to come up. As I
Yes.
started doing this writing, I'm like, oh.
Yes.
So as you start to grow, there's work that has to be done. Otherwise, we
Absolutely.
go back into hiding because
Yes.
it's safe, and it is safe. But if
Mhm.
you want to go to the next place, you're going to be going somewhere you've never been before.
And that's going to be scary.
And that's going to be scary. With Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, when she met the Scarecrow, that's what she needed for that moment. And he came and went on to the next part of her journey. And then she met the
Yes.
Tin Man because she was ready for that space. But there's always got to be somebody to accompany you as you
Yes.
start to grow in each area. If there's courage, if you need brain, if you need a heart,
Yes.
let us guide you and be with you as you take your journey of growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's really, Jewel, I agree. High five.
Yes. Thank you all for chiming in. Um, y'all, we had to cut this one just a couple minutes short because
We're going to do some personal growth.
We're gonna go do some personal growth. Girl, we getting ready to go work this
Work
body
out.
out. Thank you. Kamisha said this is
Thank you,
real good. We getting
Kamisha.
ready to
We
go work
appreciate
this
you being
body
there.
out. We getting ready to
Mm-hmm.
go do what we tell you to do.
That's
We
right.
getting
Take
ready
care
to
of
get some
yourself.
endorphins going.
Right.
Yes. And so we're going to cut it just about 7 minutes short today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for chiming in.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate it.
Yes.
You can find me, except you're going to have to get you a link tree. You can find
Okay.
me on Linktree
Okay.
/ Michelle Bird. And so what Linktree is that you create an account with Linktree and you put all the places that people can find you. If it's Instagram, Facebook,
Oh, that's brilliant.
click on that one thing and find you, right?
Okay. Okay.
And so, yes, you can find me on Linktree / Michelle Bird. And then you can find us on Facebook, Psychology Today,
Psychology
Michelle
Today.
Bird, email. Yes.
And S McCain MFT at gmail.com. And
Yeah.
Psychology Today. And then private practice at Lamplight Counseling Service in Independence, Ohio.
Yeah. You can
Mm-hmm.
find me at Chicago Compass Counseling in Chicago. Thank you guys. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
chiming in. This was really, really good. This
Yeah,
was
we
really good.
appreciate you.
Thank
So
you, friend. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Drop them. I'm always looking. Drop them in the Facebook if you have any questions, or you can reach us the ways that we just said. All right.
Mm-hmm. All
All
right, let's get
right.
our workout on.
I know.
See
Bye.
you guys next time. Bye.